Hello, everyone. Happy Friday. Oh, that's a good start. So we might get some background noise today, but you can't really change the background that we have here. So I apologize in advance for the road noise. Hopefully you can hear us nice and clear. Welcome to the Brewed For Business podcast. Today's episode number 3. So excited to introduce you guys to my guest here, who I've actually finally met in person.
Yes, it's wonderful. Thank you.
We connected months ago through a dear friend of mine, Debbie Weems, and so we're finally meeting in person. So this is Mike Kublin, everyone.
Thank you. Nice to meet everyone. Nice
Today,
to meet you in person too.
I know, right? It's been amazing coming down here, and we're currently at Storks. I don't know if I can pan up to the sign here. We're at Storks Bakery and Coffee House down in Fort Lauderdale.
Wilton
Manors area, yep. And beautiful area. Coffee is delicious, which, by the way, I know you almost finished yours, but cheers.
Saved a little bit.
Mm-hmm. So as you guys are chiming in here, feel free to comment, ask questions, and we'll try to answer everything we can. But as you know, like, we're just here to kind of get to know Mike a little and what he does and his company and how he can help so many people. And I'm so excited about that.
Thank you so much, Julie.
And how are you doing today?
I'm doing absolutely wonderful, and I'm just so excited that I finally met you in person.
I know.
And can't thank you enough for all the wonderful things you've been doing for us. And
yes.
Thank you, Debbie, for introducing us.
Yes, Debbie's fabulous. Debbie's actually going to be on the podcast next week.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So we'll get her a little spotlight on her business as well. But she is a fabulous connector, and I'm so glad that she did put us together, because I love your company and I love everyone that works for you, and you guys are just fabulous people to just be around.
We feel the same.
Yeah.
Our entire company, you brought smiles to everybody's face, so we can't thank you enough, and great work. So thank you.
And I think part of the thing is one of the biggest alignments that our companies have is we're both very relationship driven.
It's the key, the most important skill we say in the workplace today.
100%.
In the world,
right?
By the way.
Yes. And it doesn't matter, right? Relationships of the people that you meet, relationships of people that you work with, just your general like interactions in a day-to-day basis, like those relationships matter, and how you connect with people really truly matters. And that's what you founded your company on.
It is, and it took a while to uncover that was because we're a leadership development company, and we've been a leadership development company. We're still a leadership development company. But at the end of the day, the relationship that you have with yourself and with others starts on the inside. You've got to go inside first to figure out what you're all about, so that you can help figure out how to deal with everybody else.
Right. And it's like on your inside, like, you have to know who you are, how you show up before you can adjust anything.
Yes.
Right. It's just like, driving somewhere. Like, you need to know your destination before you start driving. Otherwise you could be going in the wrong direction. Right.
It is absolutely so true. And for many, many years, I went the wrong direction.
Listen, we all have. That's, I think, one of the things I love most about being a business owner is the amount of evolution that I've done, like, within myself, of like understanding who I am, where I show up, my weaknesses, right, what my strengths are, and just being able to sharpen them as you go. Like, you don't know until you know.
You don't know until you know it, and you won't know until you're ready to know. And when you're ready to know, then you will start to know.
Exactly. So exactly.
It's a good thing.
Now, are you originally from Florida?
I was born in Chicago, and the greatest thing, one of the greatest things my dad ever decided, particularly at that time, was to relocate to South Florida. And so I was 4 when we relocated to Miami. I grew up in North Miami, and I went to North Miami Senior High. I'm a pioneer. And it's great school. And then I went to University of Florida in Gainesville, and then began to work for Electronic Data Systems, EDS, in Dallas. And then relocated again back to South Florida, and built data centers in Hollywood, Florida, and then went to work for American Express.
Nice. And that was out in Arizona
No,
area?
it started with American Express in Plantation, Florida.
Okay.
They had an operating center. It was called the Southern Regional Operating Center at the time.
Mm-hmm.
They named everything after a record of charge, which they don't do that anymore, where they actually send you the record of charge, country club billing, where they actually sent you the record of charge. And I started in technology after working at Ross Perot's company. I started working at American Express.
And you were there for a long time until you started your own business.
Exactly. I spent 17 years at American Express working in mainly in tech. I spent 3.5 years in the sales, doing sales in Broward County, Florida. I had several territories, and I did that for a few years. And somebody asked me to come back into the tech world and help the technology people with their people skills. And so we launched a process called the Data Processing Client Services Focus, where people would come out from behind their terminals, because what was happening is they were taking mainframes and consolidating them in Phoenix, and they wanted to make sure that the people were now coming out and meeting with customers more often and such like that.
The initial start of like that customer touch, you know, like really enhancing that.
Exactly.
Love that. And so from American Express is where you then decided to go into and start your own business.
Yes. What happened was I was running a large group at the same time I was running the DP client services rollout. I was running a large group in computer operations, and the project part was going great. The other part was going well too, the operational piece, but I was getting some feedback. They started giving feedback in these 360s, and I got feedback there that, Mike, you're a visionary, you're motivating, you're inspiring, you're great with people, but you're wishy-washy. You don't hold people accountable to anything. So that kind of punched me hard.
I mean, everything else is like fabulous. You're like, yeah, thank you.
Thought I punched this thing off. But yeah,
the microphone flies.
It kind of hit you hard. It hit me hard.
Yeah.
I really didn't know what to do with it, and I kind of brushed it to the side for a while. But then I found a PhD, a woman who had a PhD working with doctors and nurses in hospitals, and she actually showed me where my strengths were causing those perceptions. And I loved what she did so much that I began to get certified in tools. I was relocated to Phoenix, where I ran about 15 buildings of voice data LAN in the network world for AMX. And on the side, I started another company before PeopleTek. That company had relationship issues. And then so we stopped that company and started PeopleTek. The goal was going to be working with people in technologies, but a buddy of mine said, Mike, make it a TEK, not a TECH, because you're going to work with all kinds of companies, and that's what happened. We made people with a tech.
Well, and then so back to, you know, it started in technology, and it is so necessary in technology, right? And that's one of the things we've talked about a lot is, you know, you imagine like the software engineer or the coder or, you know, the IT specialist, right? They're very technically skilled. They're fantastic at like systems, operations, figuring out the challenge. But when it comes to people or themselves.
Exactly. Again, it's a strength. They're so analytical, so much on their game with analysis, being able to wire things together, being able to program, being able to create systems, architecture. But if they overuse that and use it too much, what ends up happening is they prevent themselves from communicating properly with others. They're not doing it on purpose. It's just
they're just in their zone.
Their zone, and their gift comes so easily, so naturally to them, just like mine did to me, that they don't know they're even doing it. And once you create that awareness, they then say, "Oh, it's that easy to do this component."
And just a minor adjustment that you don't realize. Now, I do love that you have your own trademark or copyright. Is it trademark or copyright? I should know this. For the strengths, for those strengths, which I love what you guys call it. It's called your magic dust, right? What is your strength? Like, what are you really good at? What really shines through in everything you do is your magic dust. And I just love that phrasing, and I love because it really truly is. It's what sets us apart, right? We were talking before we started about AI. Right. And there's a lot of people using AI, and it's great. You know, you can infuse it into your business in a lot of different places. However, you have to give it data. you have to give it the information to understand who you are, so that that uniqueness of what makes us us and how we function and how we run. Oh, we're making a dog sad. This is the joy of life. Hopefully you guys can hear us great, because the road noise is, there's a lot of cars. But yeah, so really truly understanding that, like, it is magic, and infusing that into your AI to make sure that, like, you don't lose that voice and it's not diluted, right? Which is what happens a lot. A lot of times people just kind of, oh, do this for me, but you're not giving me any information. So it's creating what for you, it's creating for everyone else who's just feeding that one sentence or that one prompt, you know, and all that. So your magic dust. And
so crucial. One of the most important parts of your life is finding out what you're great at, and it makes you a differentiator for you. So you need to know, because some people call it your brand, but it's the special skills, abilities, and talents that you bring to every interaction you're in, every role you play, every job you take. You're bringing you there, and you might as well be happy with who you are, right? and aware of what it causes when you overuse you.
Right. And that is the downside there. You can overuse that magic dust.
Yes.
Right. Which then is where, then you get the conflicts and where you may not be coming across other people in the way that you intend to be, because you're so focused, just like how when they gave you your feedback, is because you were overusing your magic dust.
Exactly. I was overusing, first of all, I had this need, I need to be liked or whatever, everything like this. All the instruments that I was doing pointed that, okay, Mike is social, he's friendly, he's good with people. You overuse that, and you use that for the wrong reasons, then someone else isn't getting to be the best version of them. And you're preventing them from using their magic dust.
Yes.
So you're really pushing them out, not knowing you're doing that. So how do you bring yours down a little bit, help bring theirs up? Because our job is to magnify everybody else's special skill, ability, and talent.
Yeah. And it gives them an opportunity. Oh, hold on. Please excuse us for this momentary pause. One more. So loud. So hopefully my microphones are a little bit of noise reduction. We're gonna find out on the replay. If anyone's tuning in, feel free to comment. Any questions, comments. If you can hear us well, that would be fabulous feedback as well. But yeah, so we're talking about the overusing of the magic dust, and one of those things is understanding other people, right? And being empathetic. So just being aware that not everyone is like you, which I know sounds kind of silly, because obviously we know that, like physically, mentally, all that thing, but in the way that you show up as a leader, in a way that you show up with work, in a way you show up with coworkers, like, and being in that leadership role. Most people are in that leadership role because they are so skilled and they are so great at what they do, but they're never given the tools to really understand how everyone else works and how to really adjust and customize yourself to fit for everyone and how and what their magic is.
I love the way you put that, because that's exactly what happens. You're good at doing a job or a task. You work at these companies, you're good at sales, you're good at marketing, you're good at technology, and then you get promoted to manage others, okay? All of a sudden, you're dumped into this position.
Good luck.
Good luck on it. And then you follow what you've seen before.
Right.
And a lot of that times that isn't effective.
Yeah.
Okay? So the issue is, I didn't want other people to suffer like I did with no methodology of what the tools, the skills, abilities, and talent you need to effectively manage others.
100%.
And that's where
and it's so important now, especially. So, even fast forward like 10 years, 20 years ago, like the toxic boss, or the like toxic workplace was kind of like, I hate to say, but it was almost like understood, right? Because you have to stay at a job, you're building your career, you have your benefits, like you don't want to leave. And so you're kind of like stuck with dealing with the situation as is. And in the last 20 years, maybe even 10 years, but I think the world has become more aware of you know what, it doesn't have to be miserable when you go to work.
Right.
You can have good leadership with some of these tools and techniques and just understanding. Like most people that are in those positions are intelligent.
Very intelligent.
It's just they don't know what they don't know.
They don't know what they don't know. They wouldn't have gotten there. They're intelligent. Everyone has special magic dust, skills, abilities, and talents. End up going into these things because they're gifted, okay? And at the end of the day, overusing that gift is what causes most of the culture of a company to have issues.
Yes. And again,
So-
you have to, it starts with yourself.
Start
Like
with yourself.
sometimes it's some honest, hard conversations that you have to have with yourself, but they're necessary for you to know where to go and how to get there. And speaking of that, you've developed what I love, and since the moment we met, I love the way that you structure this, is you've developed like almost like a guide, right? Or more specifically, a compass as to the different things. You go ahead and show it. The different things that you have to, there we go, the glare.
There you go.
So the different stages of the compass and like what you go through in order to be the best leader that you can possibly be, right?
And you can actually self-rate where you're at as well. Okay.
Mhm.
So these 12 areas are tried and proven because we run them during a program called the Leadership Journey.
Mm.
Because I didn't want other people to struggle with the same things I did where you're given nothing.
Right.
Okay. So where does it start? It starts on the inside. It starts with us, and it starts on our inside. And how do we create? The first point in the compass is awareness.
Yeah.
How do we amplify awareness? Is what you said, various tools. Okay. In the leadership journey, we do 5 of them. Why? Because we want to gather multiple views.
Yeah.
I say, I those couldn't be wrong.
Right. Especially when they're all like the same thing.
They all kind of say the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
How you communicate, how you handle conflict, how you handle change, how you show up, how you support others, how you support yourself.
How you communicate.
How you communicate these conflicts when they arise, how you deal with it. So how you listen. And so all of those, to your point, once you gather that data, and you never stop gathering the data, by the way, and I'll get into that in a minute, but that awareness is such a crucial first step, because you can't even begin to understand your magic dust that you brought up until you start to understand with awareness all those other things.
Right. That's one of the things we've talked about before too. Like, so I'm pretty self-aware of like my strengths and weaknesses, and I know one of my weaknesses is conflict. You know, handling conflict.
You're not the only one.
Right.
I have it. We have a term in the journey: without conflict, there is no leadership.
Right.
So
not if everything goes smoothly all the time, something's wrong.
Something's wrong. It means you're not empowering yourself to go where you've never gone before, and you're not empowering others to go where they've never gone before. And it starts again on the inside. What are you comfortable with? What are they comfortable with? And how are you? But it needs to be healthy, honoring, and respectful, not only to yourself, because it starts with you first. How are you healthy, honoring, and respectful to you?
Right.
How are you doing it without judgment, without crucial, but also empowering yourself to go where you've never gone before? They're going to be uncomfortable. You're going to be uncomfortable, but that's a major component.
And it's part of the process. It's part of the journey.
It is.
It's part of the journey.
Just going and making the decision to go creates some conflict.
Yeah.
How do you decide? Because once you make a decision, it's the most powerful thing you can do, because that's another powerful component of leadership is deciding. I'm going to put myself to build muscles that are built for a lifetime. And that's why on the compass, if we come back to that, true north is continual learning. It never ends. You don't go
muscle. You
don't go to a gym once.
Right.
For the rest of your life. Okay?
Right.
You don't do just one exercise, put it on yourself, say, I got it. Oh, I did Myers-Briggs. I'm done. I don't have to do anything else. No, it's a process. It's not an event.
Yes.
We actually have a workshop coming up on that, a webinar.
Yes.
which is first lead yourself, then others.
And that's going to be February 25th at 12 o'clock. So in other news, we also launched a brand new website for PeopleTek Coaching today. So you can go and register for that webinar if you go to their events page on their website. I've got that up on the screen so you can check it out. But so that you have the webinar, but you also have a leadership journey coming up, right? So you go through each of these compass points, like in depth with all of the tools.
Yes.
To not just learn, but to apply.
So what happens is the awareness component is built in. You really must become aware. And so how do you handle conflict? How do you handle change? All the things we talked about, that's revealed to you through these instruments.
Yeah.
And a 360-degree feedback. If anybody's ever been through one of those, yes, they are uncomfortable. It will cause some conflict. There are those 12 areas along with these balancing skills or behaviors that you have, which are actions that help these things come to reality. And those are measured by your peers, by your customers, by the person you report to, by other people, constituents that you want to have measured. And during the leadership journey, the coach, all of our coaches are certified executive coaches. They take the content of all the instruments results, which you're debriefing, and then they tie it together to your 360. So you're getting a 100% view of who you are.
Which I love that, because sometimes, we think we're coming across a certain way. We think, people view us a certain way. And then when you get that actual feedback, you're like, oh, that's not how I intended to come across at all, right? But it's based off of that perception. So it's so beautiful to have the different angles of who it is that you interact with on a daily basis, and like how they see you showing up.
Well, it's a key for yourself, for the people you're leading, for your peers, for your vendor partners, for all your colleagues in the company, for every single person. Why? Because I go to every graduation, and what you hear increases is productivity, confidence. When the confidence of a person goes up, there might have been issues being even hidden and trust things happening until they felt more secure within themselves.
Right.
And that's what we find happens in the journey, so that productivity improves, late projects start moving. People have said, oh my God, now I'm finally getting across what I wanted to. Okay.
All along.
Yeah. So it's amazing. And it happens almost immediately. It's a 6-month program. You meet every other week for 12 sessions with the coach, and things are happening all along the way. Almost immediately, people that have sent people say, I see change already, which is powerful.
And I love the way that you have it structured too, where it's not like 12 sessions back to back, right? It gives you time to absorb it. It gives you time to apply the changes gradually, because you can't change everything all at once.
No, it's too hard.
It has to be in stages.
It's a process, not an event.
Yes.
Exactly. And that's another topic we could.
And this is why.
No, because it has to be over time.
Yeah.
Because these muscles don't just happen. Okay, they're built over time. These leadership muscles, and it never stops. It's continual learning. So there are other crucial components of the compass. I look at awareness as the most magic dust once that's uncovered, and the creation of we have a formula called V, M, G, M equals B. Vision, mission, goals, measures equal behavior. That particular formula is very crucial.
Yeah. Can we repeat that one more time to make sure that they got it?
Yes. It's vision, mission, goals, and measures equal your behavior, which are your values, as well as your actions. And do they link up to the values? And do they link? The reason there's an equal sign is because so many times you create a document that says, here's my vision, mission, goals, but you don't live it.
Right.
So you can create anything you want. You can say anything you want. Do your actions and values align to what you're saying? Yeah. And that's part of the leadership journey. How do you create it? But then how do you live it? How do you carry it out? And how do you link your magic dust to your vision, mission, goals, and ensure everyone else is doing that and the company is doing that?
Yeah. And that's going to be at the core of your culture.
Total.
Your company culture, your leadership culture, like that the community that you want to create around your employees, your coworkers, like all of it. It's not just for, management level too,
It's for everyone. Yeah. We've had every level attend. We've even started one of our clients, they wanted to send 2 people through the process. So they sent them to open enrollment, like the one we have coming up in February 3rd. And they sent 2 to an open enrollment. And about 2 months in, they said, what's happening to our folks? And they said, what do you mean? And they said, well, they're finally getting it. They're getting my communication in a different way.
Right.
And they're asking the question. It's working. So they then ran over the last 8 to 10 years, they've run 200 people through. So but it started with those 2.
And that is a beautiful thing, right? So you can go as an individual. Pause for the track that just went by. You can register as an individual, like if you just want to master yourself and your own leadership, because that is one of the statements that you say often, like you believe everyone is a leader.
I believe everyone on the planet is a leader. And that brings us into, that there's no one, there's a thing called relationship wreckers that I talk a lot about in various talks that I do. And the one talk that's so important, the one wrecker is, I think I'm better than someone, which means they're not a leader. I'm the leader.
Right.
They're not a leader, but they are. Every person on the planet has special skills, abilities, and talents, which is magic dust. They may not know what it is. They may not know how they're using it. They may not know how they're overusing it.
Right.
But once you have an idea in your head that I'm better than that, you might be better at a job or a task, but they're better than a job or a task than you.
Right.
And so how do we bring that out in everyone? Because it's the culture that allows those things to come forward. It allows people to be the best version of who they are. And I don't care what positions. We've had restaurant people, dock people, tugboat people. We've had all kinds of wonderful people to demonstrate what their magic dust is and how they're overusing it, and allow other people to be the brilliance that they are.
In all types of positions.
In all types of positions.
Yeah. Yes.
And at all levels.
Right.
We've had CEOs.
And like entry level?
And entry level people. Yeah. People that have just started in the company. Might be an architect or an engineer that might have just started. Go through this process.
Yeah. And imagine like just going through that process at whatever position, like the collaboration that just then begins to happen, like within the team, if everyone has gone through that journey, which is why he also does custom journeys for companies, right? So if you want your entire company's team to go through this journey, again, from every position,
that's ideal, because then you have multiple teams going through. You're setting vision, mission, goals that all relate to each other. You're understanding everyone's magic dust and what they bring.
Yeah.
You're handling conflict in a healthy, honoring, respectful way. Those are team leadership journeys that are customized to your organization. Totally revamps the organization. We call it relationeering when you work on a common project. So it's really
love the terms too. I do. I really do. And so I feel like it's more important now than ever for companies to really get this alignment, and within their workforce, because there are so many options for people to work, right? Like you run out of options, you start your own business, like I did 7 years ago.
And I did too.
Like that's an option too. So, but even like with any like regular 9 to 5, like any industry, like from yachting to banking and like everything in between, right? Like it's so important to really have that space where people like enjoy coming to work and they're able to really be the best of themselves, right? Because not everyone is meant to be an owner. Not everyone is meant to be a boss.
It's true. So that is true. So that's where people get confused with the title leader. Okay, I'm the boss, but everyone's a leader.
Right.
People that the boss is there because they're leading what they're leading. Okay. So you said something interesting, joy. Where joy is had the most is where a magic dust links to vision, mission, goals. I mentioned that. Where that's congruent. If that's not congruent, you'll see so many things happening that is unhealthy conflict. And unhealthy conflicts builds trust issues, where the 5 behaviors, everybody that's read the 5 behaviors of a cohesive team or a dysfunctional team, anybody that knows that is those dysfunctions come when people are not aligned, pretty much.
When your value matches the company that you work with, like it's magic.
Total magic.
It really is.
Total magic.
Really is.
And with AI coming faster than lightning, my belief is that the sooner we have the tools and the message about what we're good at, because we cannot be everything to everyone. AI does as good a job as it can to do that, but that's not valid.
Right.
Okay, in an individual, the individual needs to be the best version of the individual that they can be. AI can help that, but at the end of the day, we need to know who we are, what we're all about, what we're here to create, what we're here to help create.
Yeah.
And that the sooner we uncover the special gifts, abilities, and talents, magic dust linked to a vision, which both the sooner, the better it's going to be.
Right. And the more clarity you have, and everyone else has that, is going along with you, working with you,
Yes.
all of that.
Well, and it also reduces fear
Mm.
because AI creates a lot of fear. What role am I going to have? I lived through a lot of different change through the years. When I got into working with computers back a long time ago, one of the big things, Mike, you're going to eliminate everybody's positions because you're going to be putting in major computers and all the work is going to go away.
And look what happened.
And we're not going to have jobs. This goes way back. Then it happened again when we were outsourcing to here and there. Oh my God,
internet.
We're not going to have the internet. We have PCs coming in. We're not going to have any jobs. I heard it all again.
Yeah.
And then I'm hearing it now again with AI. It's going to eliminate it, and it is going to eliminate positions. The issue is when you know what you're good at and you know how to perform it and you have a vision, mission, goals, you're more empowered. You're creating more leadership. We don't want to create more control. And there are people that like that, but that's not what we want. We want people to be free and to decide what they want to work at. And the sooner they know that, the better, because they'll be able to switch to where their magic dust is needed most.
100%. And the better you know who you are, then the more you show up of that magic dust, right? And like AI can't replace that. It really can't.
It really can't.
Yeah.
Because you are you.
You are you. You're not a robot, unless you are. And we don't know. But beyond that, like you really don't know. So now how long ago did you do your book?
Okay, the book was published.
So he wrote a book. I just kind of jumped right into that. He wrote a fabulous book, and I just thought, like, when I first received it, funniest like interpretation of like the connection of leadership, and I was like, wait, what do you mean? And so we'll show you the book, and so you can see where I'm going with this. But
so the book is called The Leadership Lessons of Howard Stern,
right?
And
not who you would expect a comparison with.
Those people say, I love you, Mike. How did you select Howard?
But such a fabulous correlation and way to explain like the evolution of a leader, because we've all seen. I mean, he was one of the biggest people on TV and like interviews and years ago, and we all saw like how he was and how he treated guests, and there was like that harshness. But and I think a lot of us maybe like have turned off at that point. And I didn't recognize until your book, like how he has evolved over time.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it. He's actually done so much self-reflection. And prior to the writing, I mean, I knew it all along because he talks about it openly he's very open with who he is.
Love that.
And he was open with even when he was rough with different folks. And he talks about that too.
Yeah.
So I picked Howard. Number one, I wanted to give back. I don't know Howard. I've never met him. Okay. If he's
Howard,
listening,
if you've seen this, he'd love to meet you.
I do. And it's so amazing because he's a phenomenal example of what a person who lives their magic dust and lives their vision, mission, and goals in conjunction with their magic dust, and not without obstacles.
Right.
So he is a perfect example, and he's one that, to your point, has done his self-reflection. He always talks about the counseling that he goes through. He's been in counseling for years and years. And what has he uncovered? He treated some guests very roughly, like you had said, and he found that he could get the same information out without doing that.
Yeah.
He could actually get more and actually feel better for himself without doing that. And that's what happens when you understand who you are, but you also understand who they are. And you're really digging to find out who they are.
Right.
Because he's he's probably one of the best interviewers on the planet. And now he's even better, in my view, because he figured out this component, because he's more at ease in his own self.
Right.
He's more comfortable with who he really is and when he goes to these different areas.
Yeah, that self-awareness and self-reflection is so crucial to really being a better version of yourself, right? And just developing the different skills to show up differently.
It is. I had written other books before this book, 12 Steps of Courageous Leadership. Jan and I wrote Leadership Insights. So we've got other books, but this one was my most prized. The reason being is it goes through the compass, which we talked about. So it goes through all 12 areas of the compass, and how Howard's behavior matches to each one of those areas.
Yeah.
How he was handling conflict, and he does it all on live radio.
Right.
So
No editing.
There's no editing. You get a chance to see what's actually happening and hear it. You actually get to hear what's going on.
Yeah.
You get to understand his magic dust and also that of his team members. And they openly talk about it. Baba Booey, Robin, Fred, everyone that's been a part of the team forever, and then newer members. They all have special skill, ability, and talent that they bring. Howard brings it out. They may laugh about it, which I love too, because they're lighthearted with themselves. And
they make it normal to just be that open and that.
To me, it shows respect to their authenticity. Yeah. It shows respect to their magic dust. They may tease it and they may goof it. You probably maybe get a company get in trouble on it.
Right. But some of the things that you would say,
I wouldn't do it. But I could have taken other people and done the same thing. And I was going to do more of those. And anybody that wants to talk to me about it, I could easily talk, because everyone is special. And when you look at it, when you overuse your magic dust, like Howard was on occasion, or like I was, or like you were, like conflict. Howard created conflict, for unnecessary reasons.
Right.
That's the
on purpose.
That's the opposite. But at the end of the day, what is your motivation behind it?
Yeah.
And now his motivation is much more pure. He talks about his situation with Robin Williams, where he was a little bit, he felt could have been offensive. And he tried to get a hold of Robin, and unfortunately, we all know what happened there. But he was never able to talk about it in a healthy manner of what transpired for him. But I love it that he shares all of this on radio. Another technique that he does that I didn't know about, which I believe helps a lot with self-awareness, I think you and I have chatted about it, is meditation. Meditation, not part of the journey, but I highly recommend it, where he says without it, he was introduced to it many, many, many years ago. And he says without it, he may have jumped out of being who he was to do something because of society, with money to take care of his family, this, that. He might have stopped being the wonderful host that he is. And he's made me and others so happy.
Yeah.
That, that's a special gift that shouldn't go away.
And the meditation too, it's in whichever way, right? There's so many different ways that you can meditate. But the most important part of it is that you give yourself time to sit.
It's the most important.
And process, number one. Even my son makes those comments sometimes. He's like, man, I come up with the best ideas in the shower. And I'm like, because that's the one place you're not plugged in. And there's no information, right? And there's been talks of all of the, great inventions in the past. You're sitting around with nothing but time to think and try different things and process and really reflect. I do my meditation. I love driving. And mine is driving meditation.
I love it.
Obviously, my eyes are not closed. Not that
your ears. Hopefully, you're doing
moving meditation. But most of the time I drive, no sound, no music, just silence. And I think about different things that are going on, right? Different challenges, or whatever is going on with my day. And the amount of times that I've pulled over and had to make a bunch of notes, because then I'm yes, this is the direction that I should go, right? Because I'm really giving myself time to just reflect and to process everything that's going on.
Well, that's the whole thing about the leadership journey, the book, the compass.
You get guided through that.
You get guided through these things, and it gives you time to reflect.
Yeah.
It gives you time to slow down. I've had people say to me, why didn't I go through this 3 years ago, 5 years ago? I said, was I not there selling? Because I'm a big believer, so I'm out there. And they're like, no, Mike, you were there, but they weren't ready.
Yeah.
They weren't ready to say, you know what? Let me get into this. Let me sign up for this. Let me start to do the exercise. Because there's exercises. You get a little bit of homework. It might be 20 minutes, but it doesn't matter.
Right.
It's the time to build the muscle like you're doing.
Yeah.
You're building those muscles. And as long as you're doing that, they're getting stronger.
Yeah. And it's interesting what you said about some people are not, it's not the right time for them. Right. So it could be logical, it can make all the sense in the world. But if you're not ready to receive that, that's a whole different conversation. But the first step is that self-awareness. And like we mentioned before, sometimes that's a harsh conversation. to really take a look at, like, you know what? I didn't realize that this is what I was saying. This is what I was thinking. This is how I am, or this is how I lead. And sometimes it is a little bit like that punch in the gut, like when you see it spotlight, like, okay, this is on me and it's on me to change it. But it does take that mindset to be prepared to go through it in the way that it's going to be the most beneficial.
No doubt about it. We've recently have this an expert in performance management looking at what is in the mindset of a person before they start. And I was pretty shocked to find out some of the beliefs that were there. And if you let those beliefs, whether it's all the issues that we know in society, if you let those block your ability to go through this, you're going to always be using those as an excuse. And you don't even know you're doing it. Okay. And those were in the mindset of many of the folks.
Yeah.
And then when I go to graduation, I've been to every graduation since the beginning of Leadership Journey, and we've had 2,600 or so or more grads. I go to every, I hear what they get and how they've uncovered. Oh my God, I did not know that. Oh my goodness, that is a shock. So that uncovering of self, linking it to who they are, being okay in their own skin with their own magic dust, even though those barriers are still there, they go right through them. I don't care if it's a political issue, this, that, they go right through them. Why? Because they know how to do that for themselves. They have the confidence to be the best version of themselves that they can be.
Right. Because they finally truly understand who they are.
And then, and what their dream is. The vision, mission, goals measures is your dream, your aspiration, how you're going to get there, what are your top 3 goals of getting there, and how are you measuring your success. They have that identified, because that's part of the program. You must identify it, you must speak to it, you must start living it, and the coach helps you do that.
Yeah, it really does. And it's you always say that, like, doing all of this uncovery of who you are. I think I just made up a word.
Yeah, I like I start
uncovering who you are. You always say, like, within your company, that it's not a process, it's a journey. And so you guys go as far as you stay with people who go through the leadership journey to give them some, that accountability, and to refresh them and keep those resources available, so that as you move forward in your life, you can then reapply those tools or get reminded of applying those tools. It's like reading a book, right? How many times have you reread the same book? The first time you read it, you gather some of the information. Yes, you read all of it, but you only kind of pull out the things that are important to you in that moment. And then when you revisit that book, like maybe after a year, after 2 years, like, you see it in a completely different way, right?
No doubt about it. One of the things that we do to support all of our grads and their sponsors is we have a program called Your Journey Continues. It's every month. It's the last Tuesday of every month from 4 Eastern to 5 Eastern. Grads and sponsors call in. And what do we do? Well, we focus on an area of the compass. This month was awareness. Next month is magic dust. And we're going to have some guests on. They're going to talk about somebody whose magic dust linked to certain people, but others never understood it. Why? Because that person was always doing it the same way, and it prevented others from using their magic dust at times. But the impact they had with the people that understood was phenomenal. And sometimes we don't realize all those things that are going on, and we're going to talk about that.
Love that. And you do it every month. And it's a mastermind style?
It's a mastermind.
Everyone kind of chimes in, right? It's very collaborative.
Very collaborative. Why? Because we want, to your point, during the journey, afterwards, when you're graduated, you got your documents, your vision, mission, goals, and you've got your magic, and you're living it. Oh, an obstacle came up. Oh, someone didn't treat you in a healthy, honoring, respectful manner. Oh, how do I handle the situation? We had somebody the other day say the customers were yelling and screaming, and oh my God, they were so upset. And when they peeled it back, when they used some tools from the journey, peeled it back, started to analyze with the strategic action plan how to get from where they were to where they want to be, they found that they forgot to communicate a few things. And they didn't understand on both sides. So it all worked out.
Which is a perfect point, right? Because you could go through the journey, again, kind of like reading that book the first time. You acknowledge it all. You understand all But what is that? The tier of like, you know what you don't know, then you know what you know,
Right.
and then and there's two more beyond that, I believe, like that like further like involves this.
Yes.
And so you understand it, but to apply it is a constant practice. You have to get the reps in, like you have to go through the process, and being able to talk it through is beautiful.
It is, and it's like I always say, it's like swinging a kettlebell. You don't do that one time and stop. Okay?
Right.
You go back to it and build muscles. You might even use more weight.
Right.
You might even use less weight. You might even double or triple it, and you might even go less.
Right.
So it's the same thing with these muscles.
Yeah.
And
constantly in practice.
And constantly going with that mastermind. We don't charge for it, so it's every month.
Yeah.
From 4 to 5.
And but you have to be a Journey graduate in order to
yes.
Join.
A graduate or a sponsor. We allow the sponsors to come, even though some of them might not be grads, because we want that linkage of the language and the understanding of the learnings.
Yeah.
And it's kind of interesting. It's very interesting. Most of the sponsors are grads, but not all. So it's very, very fascinating.
And it's a mix of industries.
It's a mix of
people
industries.
from different.
Yeah, we have tech industry, we have marinas, we have auto industry, we have communications, TV, radio. We've got every industry.
And I love the mastermind aspect of it anyway, like when you mix industries, because like what you hear from someone in a different industry and you're like, oh, you know what? That's a great way to look at it. Hadn't really considered that. It just kind of opens you up to that many more examples of things that people are going through. And like moments of empathy where you're like, you know what, I'm going through the same thing, just my clients are this, or my coworkers are that.
We have financial institutions, we've got different, and when they listen to people in other industries, they're saying, oh my God, yes,
we deal with those same challenges.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And here's how we can all handle it. And you've got the power of everybody's brain to handle it.
Right. Yeah. The
mastermind theory.
Napoleon Hill.
Yeah. I love it. He was phenomenal.
Right.
Think and Grow Rich. I recommend that. Was one of my first books.
Fantastic book. I'm actually rereading it now for probably the third time. Right.
Awesome,
because it's one of those things that exactly like what came to mind when I was talking about like, oh, you read it the first time, and I was like, oh, I remember it being amazing and all the things. And then that was like before I even went into business. Then I've been in business, read it again in the early stages, and I'm going through it again, and I'm like, man, like
it's tried and true.
Yeah.
It's proven.
100%.
Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich.
Fabulous.
7 Habits of Highly Effective People. I always like
that one's great
Stephen
too.
Covey. So they're just tried and true. They work, and you have to go back to them and learn them.
Excuse me. The 7 Habits.
Stephen Covey.
Yes, that was so enlightening to me, and it helped really understand different people, right? Like when you're talking about like being work focused or like family focused, or
what their values are.
Right, what their values are, and like how if you relate, basically, like if you build your existence around this particular value, then your emotional state, your mental state, your life, it like alters based on the sanctity of like that value.
No doubt about it.
Right? If you're work focused and things go wrong at work, then all of a sudden like your life feels like it's falling apart.
So let's go back to the formula.
Yeah.
Vision, mission, goals, measures equal behavior. Okay, which is the third point of the compass. It's those behaviors that are your values. You can say I'm family focused. If you're not living it, or when you're not living it, you're saying one thing and doing another.
Yeah.
So there's that out of alignment.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I've been out of alignment on occasions.
We all do. But the compass and then brings you back to center.
It at least also brings up constructive discussions.
Yes.
Not everybody fits in every company and every role, and we don't know what values they used when they got there. We don't know what beliefs they used when they got there. So people say, well,
and they change.
Some people could quit. That's okay.
Yeah.
It actually works out better.
Yeah. Yeah. I use, as you know, a personality system called Bank. Okay. And it's basically based off of like what people value. But it's interesting because I've been using Bank now for years, and there are people that have like cracked their code 6 years ago. Yep. And then cracked their code again recently. 1, maybe because they forgot that they cracked it the first time, or 2, just because they're curious. And it does change because your values do change.
It can.
things that happen in your life. You get promotion at work, right? Like your values will adjust and evolve as you do. So
and you also, to that point, don't know if they were answering it based on what they think the public wants.
Right.
What do they want my magic dust to be? No, what do you want it to be? It's you.
Yeah.
And sometimes we do it to please others rather than to please ourselves or what they're looking for.
Right. Yeah, to try to fit that box. But again, if you fit in that box and the value system does not align, your vision, mission, and goals, that's where you get the conflict, the misalignment, and then you feel lost, or things are going wrong, or you're, going back and forth with coworkers and there's friction and you're just not looking forward to going to work.
And I would say if you're having that,
yeah,
respect that that's going on and say, okay, there is a part that I need to dig into my awareness.
Yes.
I need to figure out what is my magic dust, what is my vision, and start to look at it. You don't even, it's just it's wonderful because you're actually feeling something. The issue is, what are you doing when you're feeling that?
Right. Yeah. And unless you know, and unless you have the tools, people tend to just avoid, right? Or you
wouldn't know that any tools exist. A lot of people don't know that the compass and the search for the awareness and the magic dust of the vision, that component in and of itself will set you free.
And I love that you have such a step-by-step structure of it too, because one of my biggest pet peeves, I guess, for lack of a better term, would be that, there's all of these like education programs or these like success-driven programs. I don't want to call out anyone specifically, but all these conferences where you teach you like all of the things to be successful. Okay. And then the majority of the people go home and then are like, now what? So you learned the how, but you didn't take a look at who you were. You didn't take a look at what you were, what your goals were, what your vision was, what you were aiming for, and how those things apply to you. Right. So it's so much more than just having that, like, just the direction.
In other words, that the mindset needs to shift. Yes. Oh yeah, I know that. But what's going on in my mindset?
Right.
So you're bringing up a phenomenal difference between the journey and all other programs. Mm-hmm. The journey digs into you deeply so that you can share those things. You can be the most authentic that you've ever been.
Yeah.
Maybe in your entire life with who you are. Yeah. And that's my goal, that every single person on the planet gets a chance to experience that.
It's beautiful. You should definitely check out the website and sign up for our leadership journey. There's one coming up, open enrollment February 3rd. You can sign up for on the website. And then there's a webinar. So if you want to learn a little bit more and like dig a little bit deeper into each of the compass points, that webinar it's a free webinar. You can register for that also on the website under the events tab. And that's February 25th at noon Eastern time. But just fantastic. Me and my team like sat in on the last webinar. I mean, we learned so much just from, going through your stuff anyway and reading your book. Fabulous. And I love that. In the world of just working with the people that you're building your team, we'll say, right? Like, so, and building your team and understanding the compass. And I know that you guys also evaluate yourselves often, too, right? So even though you're in it and you're teaching it, it's still
we're still doing instruments. We use all kinds. It's continual learning. I've had a coach for a long time. Yeah. I wouldn't have released my book without my coach.
Sometimes we need that push.
You do, and you need someone to hold you accountable to things and things you say you're going to do. Okay, that you need to do. Okay?
Accountability is really important. So yes. Do you journal at all?
I do. I actually have it, but I keep it in a gratitude journal.
I love that.
One of the things, I had my mindset measured by another organization to look at what was in my mind. And I was in the program with a group of Navy SEALs. Ooh. And after I got my results and the questionnaire they asked, my results were less than a lot of the people in the class. Mm-hmm. And here I am doing all this leadership development. So I went to the professor who created this mindset mapping tool. Mm-hmm. And I said, what? Why? And he goes, Mike, you've got everything. You've got the vision, your goals, you've got your magic, you've got all these things. You lack fullness of your gratitude. Mm. And that punched me hard. I didn't know 100% what he was talking about even at the time. That's again an awareness that I'm grateful, mate. Started to fight it.
immediately. That's usually our first reaction.
So I went and got he told me, I said, what would I do? He goes, get this. And it was like an $8 gratitude journal off. And this was about 10 years ago. I got it off the internet. And I've been filling it out ever since, every day. And I list and I journal everything that's happened that day. So you'll be in there today.
Love it.
I'm very
and
grateful.
The fabulous podcast that we were on.
And everybody else that's on the call. And I put in there those things documenting what made me so pleased. And now what I'm working on is just being grateful for every second, even if it's a second of what might be, like you said, like somebody running around and they're upset about it. I use gratitude for that. Because without that, you can't empower yourself to go to the next place.
That's so true.
So to be grateful, I call it gratitude, acceptance, forgiveness, and gratitude. Those are my three big principles.
But you bring such a great point. Like, so the world, the United States. Let's narrow it down to that. The United States is very like hustle driven, right? Like we need to, work all these hours to more money, to more profits, to more things, more whatever, right? So it all goes towards that. And so there's such a hurry and a drive to get those goals. Like the amount of times that people have asked me since I've been in business, like, oh, what are your financial goals? What is your 5-year goal? And I'm, you're just trying to make it to the next level. And I have learned that it's so important to really take a moment to like first sit back and really look at like what you've accomplished, being grateful for those moments, those interactions, those relationships.
Every single one of them. Every single one. Nothing happens by mistake.
Right.
No one comes into your view without a purpose.
Yep.
No one, their magic dust doesn't come.
Everyone comes in your life for like a reason, a season, or
everyone. And I'm so grateful that you came into my life.
Me too.
And your team. I love them too.
Yeah, they are fabulous. And being able to really celebrate those moments, however big or small, is so important to really like being able to grow past that. Otherwise, we just kind of get lost in the shuffle, right? And then your energy changes. I'm a big fan, big supporter also of like your energy, like how you feel and show up, like really, resonates. And
yes, so it makes 100% difference. People feel it. They know.
Right. Yeah. And that's also part of why I love doing like these in person. There's something about, because we've chatted a million times on the phone and like through Zoom, and yet like being in person,
much different.
I
love it.
I feel like I've known you forever.
I love it. I'm so grateful. Thank you.
This is so fun. This is why we do what we do. But on that note, I know we've kept you guys for almost an hour here, and again, hopefully you heard all of this. Beauty of going live. I don't know until we do the replay if all the road noise was a little overpowering. But I am so grateful to have Mike with me here on the Brewed For Business Podcast.
Thank you. Thank you all for attending.
Yes, and check out, it's on the screen, but you can check out his company, PeopleTek Coaching, PeopleTekCoaching.com, for their brand new fabulous website that was just launched today, actually. And so you can check out, he's got his books are available on there as well in the resources tab. So you can look up any of those books. The Howard Stern book, fantastic. Seriously, read it. And if you want to sign up for those journeys, again, there's a open enrollment happening February 3rd for the full leadership journey program. On February 25th, if you want to find out more, there's a free webinar. There's all kinds of opportunities. Just reach out to Mike.
And you can call Mike, and we'll glad to get back to you and talk and answer any questions.
Mike and his team, you can find them all on LinkedIn too, so you can reach out to them everywhere. But thank you again for joining me today. If you guys have any questions as you're seeing this on the replay, like feel free to type the questions into the comments. We'll make sure that we get the answers to you. I'm connected with Mike all over social, so he'll see them. He'll be able to reply to them directly as well. But thank you again for joining us, and see us.
Thank you for having me, and thank you all for attending.
Yes, and then see us next Friday for my episode with Debbie, the person who introduced us.
I love it. It's wonderful.
You guys have a fabulous weekend.